Hey guys, it's Kay, and today we are going to be doing another makeup and murder, or I think I titled it Murder and Makeup episode. So if you're new here, hi, hello. We do a variety of different things on this channel, including our newest series called Murder and Makeup, where we do our makeup and we talk about serial killers or murder cases or true crime, really just anything along that line. So if you're new here, hi, hello. Feel free to like, subscribe, leave a comment. If you guys have any serial killers that you would like to hear about or any cases that you would like to hear about, go ahead and leave those down in the comments below and I will see if I can get to them. So today we are going to be talking about Robert Berdella, or Bob Berdella. I will go back and forth between using first names and last names in here, as well as I tend to call Robert Bob because he's a junior and I don't want to get them confused. So off we go. Alright, so Robert Andrew Berdella Jr. was born on January 31st, 1949 in Cuyahoga Falls, Ohio, to parents Robert Berdella Sr. and Mary Berdella. Robert Sr. worked at the Ford Motor Company as a die setter, and his mom, Mary, was a homemaker. He also had a younger brother named Daniel. Their family was very religious and often attended church on Sundays. Bob stopped going to church when he was a teenager, however. He had thick glasses from the age of 5 and was bullied in school. He was a good student, though his teachers did say that he was hard to teach. He had high blood pressure and a speech impediment. He was basically a loner with little to no social life. While his brother Daniel was interested in sports, Bob was not. So this meant that his father would like Daniel more, though his father would often emotionally and physically abuse both boys. When Bob reached puberty, he realized that he was gay, though he wouldn't tell anyone about that yet. So he actually started developing a bad attitude towards women around his teens when he gained a little more confidence. His father had a heart attack on Christmas Day 1965 while they were visiting family in Canton, and his mother would soon after remarry, and Bob ended up resenting her for it. In 1967, he graduated high school with pretty good grades. Bob wanted to be a teacher, so he enrolled in the Kansas City Art Institute, but would end up becoming a chef. He tortured animals at least 3 times. In 1969, he was expelled from the Art Institute for killing a dog in an art experiment. After he was expelled, he became an alcoholic and started selling drugs. He was arrested for possession, but was released due to lack of evidence, which honestly kind of strikes me as odd because lack of evidence in a possession case sounds kind of weird to me. Either you have the drugs on you or you don't, you know what I mean? So I don't really know how that works. But anyway, while focusing on his chef work, he joined the South Hyde Park Crime Prevention and Neighborhood Association. In the early 80s, he became a chairman and was an active member until the late 80s. Okay, so I am going to apologize. I just did my eyeshadow and my lashes because I thought I was filming and did not hit the button, so here we are. Let's restart where I was. Okay, so by now, Berdella was comfortable with his homosexuality and had a short relationship with a Vietnam veteran. He spent a lot of time talking to male prostitutes and drug addicts and helping them quit. Bob became frustrated with their lack of cooperation and ignorance and would try to gain control over them, loaning them money, allowing them to live rent-free with him, and engaging in sexual relationships. So basically, when they didn't want to better their own lives, he would act like he was helping them out, but really kind of controlling more aspects of their lives. At age 32, he gave up being a chef and set up his shop, Bob's Bizarre Bazaar, which honestly, I love that name. Bizarre Bazaar. He sold jewelry, antiques, art, and witchcraft and occult type things. At his shop, he would befriend another merchant, Paul Howell, and his son, Jerry. At first, Jerry and his friends made fun of Bob for being outwardly homosexual, but he would later tell Bob that he and his friends sometimes made their money by being male prostitutes. So, on to the crimes. It's believed that Bob killed his first victim on July 5th, 1984. His first victim was Jerry Howell. He abducted him while giving him a ride to a dance contest in Miriam. He gave him alcohol, Valium, and I'm probably going to butcher this, but I think it's acepromazine, both in the car and when they got back into the house until he was unconscious. He then injected Jerry with a heavy tranquilizer before tying him to the bed for about 28 hours. Berdella continued drugging, torturing, he raped and violated him with foreign objects. He ignored Jerry's questions of why he was being tortured and pleased to be set free. Berdella said Jerry either asphyxiated on his own vomit or a combination of the meds and gag made it hard for him to breathe, hard for him to catch his breath. Bob tried to bring Jerry back to life before dragging his body to the basement. In the basement, he suspended Jerry's body above a large cooking pot and made multiple cuts in his elbows and jugular, like the inner elbow. He then left the body there overnight so that the blood would drain, and then he dismembered it using a chainsaw and a boning knife and threw it in the garbage, double bagged. When questioned by police, Bob said he'd taken Jerry to Miriam and had not seen him since. Berdella did keep a log about the sexual and physical torture he inflicted on his victims. On April 10th, 1985, 20-year-old Robert Sheldon would ask to stay with Bob. Bob said yes, but then considered him an inconvenience. He drugged Sheldon and held him captive when he came home April 12th and found Sheldon intoxicated. He said he saw Sheldon as someone to express some of the anger that he felt towards others on. Sheldon was held in the second floor bedroom and was tortured with things such as, this is graphic, so if you're squeamish, go ahead and skip ahead a few seconds. I will give you a second to do so. Swabbing of drain cleaner in his left ear, needles below his fingertips, binding of wrists with piano wire to permanently damage the nerves in his hands, filling his ears with caulking to reduce his hearing. April 15th, a man came to work on the roof, which led Berdella to suffocate Sheldon by putting a bag over his head and using rope to tighten it. He would later dissect the body in the third floor bathroom. In June the next year, Bob found Mark Wallace hiding in his shed for shelter from a storm. And since this video is probably long enough as of right now, I'm going to go ahead and make a part 2. So join me next week for a part 2 to this. Thanks for watching.